You're watching Gaming Nest News, making you no April Fool. On the docket this week, we're taking a look at Cyberpunk's new 1.2 update. Project Supervillain will also be sharing some of their top 5 upcoming April picks. And Joker shares a clip and their feelings on Wild Rift. Let's send it to our host this week. Take it away, Joker.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and non-binary friends, and welcome back to Gaming Nest News here today. It's March 31st, 2021, and before we go any further, I do want to say a happy day of visibility, a happy day of trans visibility to all my transgender friends and family, as well as all my fellow non-binary people that are out there, regardless of the pronouns that you use, or regardless of the gender presentation. You know that you are loved, you are welcome, and you are seen. You are part of the family, and we do love and respect you. So thank you for joining us on this wild ride here at G. Got a lot on our plate today for this show. Let's kick it on over first to Willden. He's got a look at some of the updates here to Cyberpunk 2077, seeing if these updates will actually make the game a little bit more enjoyable to play. Willden, take it away.
Howdy y'all, Willden here, and this week, talk about CD Projekt Red. Whole bananas, there's a lot going on. CD Projekt Red has finally released one of 2 major patches that had planned for Cyberpunk they announced earlier in the year. This first one's called 1.2, and boy is this list long. This list is longer than Santa's Christmas list on Christmas Eve, when he's like having a bunch of kids on the list and stuff. This list is longer than that. This is like one of the longest lists I've ever seen. Probably the longest list I've ever seen in my entire life for an update for a video game. This thing goes long. Be sure to check out on your own time if you want, you got a good 10 minutes or so to kill to check that out. But they finally released that. They also kind of said through like investor call that maybe, hey, not necessarily it's up to us as far as releasing Cyberpunk again on the PlayStation Store. It's kind of up to PlayStation. So who knows what the heck's going to go on there. But even with that happening, since this new patch has been released, it seems that even though a lot of stuff's been fixed, there's still a lot of issues, even maybe some more issues in terms of like vehicles spawning all at the same time in spots when the vehicles just call, just like a bunch of them just piling up. There's like aim sight issues, sometimes maybe even some are reporting, like loading just taking a little bit longer than it used to. And of course it's all over the place, it varies by the platform. It's good, take forever for this thing to like get patched up to somewhat like a reasonable quality that should have been to begin with. Also, Cyberpunk acquired a studio called Digital Scapes, and now it's a smaller game development studio, and they announced that they acquired them, and now it's going to be changed to CD Projekt Red Vancouver, because that's like where they're located. As far as what they're going to do with that, who knows? There was talks of Cyberpunk having multiplayer, that they were working on that. I don't know if this is going to be a smaller project, a smaller studio, but they acquired them, so that's an interesting thing to announce while all this is going on. They also announced that they're planning on bringing like a PS5 next-gen updates to The Witcher 3, which is the game that everybody seemed to really love and enjoy, the last one before Cyberpunk. And it's cool to hear. It's just kind of weird hearing all this at the same time when you have, this all this stuff going on that they still need to worry about fixing, and then they're like, oh, but let's move on to other stuff too and talk about this. And it seems a little soon. I'm not sure why they decided to announce all this at the same time and not kind of, give some breathing room after this like big Cyberpunk patch. It was like the biggest one they've ever had. Give some time to pass before you announce a little studio acquisition, or like even maybe announce a Witcher 3 update a little bit further down the road. I mean, it's cool to give the people and all that, but shouldn't like your main focus still be on fixing this kind of mess that's going on? So it's just a weird timing for me. But hey, you know, they're still making moves. You know, it's to show they're not backing down. They're still working on stuff in the meantime. And we'll just have to wait and see what other patches come out. There's still one more big patch left that's supposed to come out after this. So we'll see if that one's as long as eternity is or not, and find out, you know, what their future plans are for The Witcher and them supporting Gwent still, and whether it continues Cyberpunk or not, and then what we're doing, you know, what they're going to do after that. But in the meantime, guys, I'll see you on the next one for some more updates in gaming.
Thanks again, Willden, for that look at the updates here to Cyberpunk 2077. We've talked about it a lot here on G, but I do know that it is a game that a lot of people still enjoy regardless of the varying issues that the game has. And so taking a look at these updates, you know, maybe it will make the game a little bit more enjoyable and maybe bring back some of those players that that left after the first couple of days or so because of what the buggy mess the game was to begin with. And we do want to give that big call to action for everybody. If you have any clips, any videos, anything that you want to see here on Gaming Nest News, please send it on over to info@nesthq.online. We want to see your clips, we want to see your pieces, and we want you to be involved here with the show, so please send them on in. We'd love to have it. We'd love to have you on the show. Coming up next, we've got our friends, our boys over at Project Supervillain, and they're taking a look here at their top 5 games being released here in April, coming up in just a few days. There's a lot of good games on the list, a lot of interesting games on the list as well. So boys, let's see what you've got in store for us.
Sup everyone, we're back with some more news for you, and we're your hosts from Project Supervillain. I'm Arc Drifter.
I'm Kill Boss.
We're jumping back into 5 new games coming out in April. These ones are all pretty awesome looking, so let's just hop right into it.
Do it.
You know, it's really funny that I transition with a snap, because this next game is called Pokemon Snap.
New Pokemon Snap.
That's right, it's a remaster, or I guess it's a remake we should say, because there's quite a bit of new elements to this game, and the whole thing's pretty much been built from the ground up. You can definitely tell that. So yeah, you get to go across this like set path, and the game pretty much takes you where it wants you to go. You don't really get to choose, but as you're going along the path, you have a camera, and it's a first-person kind of game, so you're taking photos of all these Pokemon as you go, and it looks like a very relaxing game, actually.
Yeah, like super relaxing. I mean, you just you're on rails assaulting Pokemons with apples the whole way. So I mean, what could be more relaxing than a Saturday evening of that?
So, like I just mentioned, you're taking photos of Pokemon on a set path, and you're actually able to share your photos afterwards with your friends. There's this whole area of the game where you can just look at other people's photos and kind of see like some of the cool things that people are able to capture and or make, because you can actually customize the photos with filters and add stickers and all sorts of stuff over top and make your own little design for it. So that's a really cool aspect. If you're into games that are really focused on creativity, this is a game for you.
So yeah, on top of all the customization and the fun stuff that you're going to get to do, there are a lot of items that you can use to interact with those Pokemons, and you know, you can cause them to do different reactions or catch them in different poses. This kind of stuff is going to affect your score. I'm not sure entirely what that pertains to, but maybe it's part of getting some of the new upgrades that you're going to get from Professor Oak, because you seem to show him your photos and then he grades them, and you know, you get a bunch of new stuff from him, and these things can apparently unlock more levels and some of the hidden paths that are on the ones you've already played. This one is coming out on April 30th, and again, that's a Switch exclusive. Oh, next we have Abe returning with Oddworld Soulstorm. These games are basically just like a parody of a bunch of different action and comedy franchises. Like, there's a lot of references in them and stuff like that, but they are absolutely zany, wacky. The setting in these games is just absolutely unpredictable. So, not that every game in the series has been this way, but this one is definitely an action platformer, and it seems to have some strategy elements to it too.
You're going to be controlling a like legion of followers with you as well during the adventure to, like, I guess you have to free your people from the wrath of the villain Moloch, I don't know much about Moloch, but
Moloch owns the Rupture Farms, and he just wants to enslave all of your people. He's kind of like the big badass corporate overlord who's a piece of shit. But we're going to see when it comes out on April 6th, which is coming up very fast. So that's going to be on PS4 and PS5, and it'll be on PC as well, exclusive to the Epic Games Store. Don't know for how long, maybe forever, we'll see, but it's there.
but I guess we should move on to our next one.
Okay, what's next?
Our next title is going to be Outriders. This one, I'll say it right off the bat, it's going to be coming out April 1st for the PS5, the PS4, Stadia, Xbox One, and the Series X, as well as just PC in general. It's developed by a Polish studio, People Can Fly. They're really renowned for being a good shooter developer.
Yep.
Looking at titles like Gears of War and Bulletstorm, these guys are responsible for some of those games, and it appears they want to continue their success in the shooter realm and going into this game, Outriders, which is actually a co-op RPG looter shooter and a big open world.
Good job leaving out Painkiller as well, which is another game that they're fucking very well known for. That is like one of those things that was like a big successor to Doom back in the day, and just absolutely amazing. When I saw that People Can Fly were working on this after playing Painkiller, I was like, okay, this is going to be something good. Within that world, like that open world there, we are going to have main quests and side quests, obviously.
There's multiple distinct locales and places to visit. The worlds look incredibly beautiful, I gotta say. And there's, like, aside from all these open world areas that you can have combat and fighting in, there's hub worlds as well where you can meet up, and obviously there's no combat and stuff, but you can still talk to NPCs, meet up with other players, go to shops and all that good stuff.
So, there's also a huge arsenal of sci-fi weapons to make use of. There are also character abilities, 4 different classes to play as, so I'm assuming they are all going to have their own unique abilities, but it seems with the skill tree it kind of lets you branch out a little bit and maybe choose ones from other classes, so that would be cool to kind of mix and match those things, and not to mention that all of your equipment, armor, guns, those will all be able to be modified as well with modifiers, so that'll further enhance how effective they can be in combat. Alright, so it looks too like they are hinting at some possible player agency with saying that like some of the choices that you make in the game could affect how events and quests turn out later down the line. So that would be kind of cool, because who doesn't like having agency in the story, feeling like you're actually affecting the world around you? I mean, you're super badass, you should be able to, right?
Yeah, exactly. So that's actually a really cool part of the game if they actually do it properly. To cap it all off, on top of all the awesome things we've talked about, it has a really in-depth customization suite. So for both your character and for your vehicle, you're going to be unlocking some really cool-looking costumes, as you can see there. And even your vehicle can be customized in all sorts of different ways. So it's going to be really interesting to see what they do with that.
So next we're going to take a look at Returnal. This is a third-person horror adventure with some roguelike elements, which was a little bit of a surprise, but it also has plenty of action in it from what we can see. You're playing as an Astro Scout named Celine, and she has crash-landed on an alien planet. She was looking for like a signal transmission that she was picking up, crash-landed, and the whole thing is now turned into a disaster.
So the game's got some high mobility going on in it. You got a jetpack, you can jump around, dash, fly, all the encounters you'll have with enemies, it looks like there's going to be a lot of movement involved in it, which I'm always a fan of.
The narrative in it is one of those ones that's very cerebral and really deep, and it like goes into your character's psyche and it starts exploring their traumas and things like that, and it's got this really sinister tone behind it, and you can feel the unease as you make it deeper and deeper into this planet and as you see more and more of the game. So yeah, I mean, that right there already has me sold, because I mean, we're suckers for horror games around here. But this one looks like it's going to stand out amongst others. I hope it does. And the action itself does look really cool. I mean, they also give you what seems to be a huge plethora of weapons that you can use. They all have these awesome alt fires that you can use with them as well. It's just, oh man, the balance between action and horror in this game looks almost like it's perfect. So this one definitely has us hyped. We will be checking this one out as soon as we get our hands on a PlayStation 5. That one is coming out exclusively for the PS5 on April 30th. So if you've got one and you like horror, I'd say this one's right up your alley. Check it out. Okay.
Let's move on to our final one. Yeah, we don't have an honorable mention for you guys because we had one, and it was
they changed the release date tonight.
Yeah, I swear to God, like, we had all the information out, and then they're like, yeah, release date's actually later, and so we just cut it from the list. Sorry guys, we only have 5 for you. just like we promised. So the fifth and final is Nier Replicant, version whatever the fuck number that is. I'm not reading that. It's a remake of Nier Replicant that actually released in 2010 for the PS3. So it's pretty much taking that game and just remaking it. If you know what that is, I mean, if you know what a remake is, I don't know.
You better fucking know what a remake is. So it is a hack and slash game, just like the other titles in the series. It has some bullet hell inspiration in there too. You'll notice that with some of the bosses that you have to fight. This one has the parry system, which was actually absent from Nier Automata, which was kind of a strange decision. But this one has the parry system, and you can pair that in conjunction with your evasion moves, and it really makes for what looks like a very fluid combat experience.
The game does look really fun. And then the other thing, like one of the big changes here, if anybody is a fan of Nier Automata, it is one of the more recent Nier games. So a lot of people might have played that one. There is a drone in that game that acts as your helper. It shoots and does like special moves for you. Looks like Grimoire, the freaking flying book, is going to be replacing your drone. So it looks like you have a magic book floating alongside you instead of a machine gun turret, essentially.
So yeah, it looks to be an awesome remake of a game that came out, over a decade ago now. So that is definitely due for the remaster remake treatment, and it looks like they have done that in spades. Here's hoping that the game still holds up all these years later. So that one is coming out on April 23rd for PS4, Xbox One, and PC. So if you are looking for an awesome hack and slash game to play with what seems like a very compelling story, narrative, and world, this is one that you'll want to get your hands on.
This apparently comes before Automata, so play this one first if you're interested in starting yourself into the Nier world.
There you go. Chronological order, bitches.
Okay, that's it though, guys. We don't have anything else to talk about this week, but next week we'll come back with some more news. If you guys want to support us, go check out our Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Project Supervillain and check out all the links there if you want to support us. But enjoy the rest of the show. We'll be back next week. See ya.
Good show, guys.
Bill Boss, Arc Drifter, thank you guys for that list. There are quite a couple of games that I hadn't really even heard of on the list, but I do know that Pokemon Snap is going to be exciting. I remember growing up playing the original on the N64 and just being in amazement and awe at the world that they built for Pokemon Snap and the excitement that you would get from playing the game and from seeing all the Pokemon in their various habitats and the personalities they had. It was super enjoyable, and I cannot wait to see what they have in store for Pokemon Snap. I know a lot of people are excited about Nier Replicant. Not having played Nier Automata, but having seen streamers play it and play it. It did look like a very interesting game, so Nier Replicant looks like it could be another fun one, and obviously Oddworld coming out. Those were some big games to me growing up, and seeing some more Oddworld is always a good thing. I do want to go kick it on over from the desktop and console games over to the mobile game world. One of the biggest PC games has now come to mobile devices worldwide. League of Legends Wild Rift was released to mobile devices across the world earlier this week after an extended closed beta test in the Eastern and Southeast Asia. Wild Rift is a fast-paced version of classic League of Legends gameplay, featuring games that last an average of 15 to 20 minutes. It still has the same 5v5 action, 3 lanes, and neutral objectives as PC League of Legends. However, everything has been scaled to a much faster game level. Map has been shrunk, removing some walls in the jungle as well as the inhibitors and nexus turrets found in each base. Currently features close to 60 champions found in the PC version, with plans to release most champions found on the main game. Champions have had abilities adjusted for use on mobile platforms, such as Lux's ultimate ability becoming a global beam instead of a moderately long-ranged beam, and both Misfortune and Annie's Q abilities have been turned into skill shots instead of on-target abilities. Champions, though, are still the characters we know and love, or in the case of characters like Teemo or Singed, champions we despise. Voice lines and music are still intact, with many new songs being created for the mobile versions. Wild Rift is free to play and is available on Google Play, the Apple App Store, and the Amazon App Store. Now, if you want to take a look here at the gameplay as it looks on an iPad, we've got a quick clip of some Wild Rift action and play that, you know, his character probably should have died.
Middle turret is under attack. Ally slain. You have slain an enemy. Enemy killing spree. You have slain an enemy. Shut down. Bottom turret is under attack.
Yes, that was my clip here, but again, just wanted to show you what you can see and what you can expect here on Gaming Nest News if you want to get your game clips in. We would love to see the action that you have. We would love to see the excitement that you bring, the plays that you have, and we want to share them with the world. So again, please send that information over to info@nesthq.online. We'll make sure we work with you to get your clips, your videos, your plays here on Gaming Nest News. That is it for us today for March 31st. We again appreciate you joining us, and once again want to say happy Day of Trans Visibility again to our non-binary and transgender friends. Whether you are out in public or you are closeted and you are not out just yet, we want to say that we do love you, we respect you, and we see you. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next week for more Gaming Nest News.